Well, obviously this one, right? But other egg replacement technology that I have seen with it's a combination of an emulsifier, a protein isolate, and a hydrocolloid. So like what I've outlined in the presentation just now, take a look at those three things. You can't just use protein, you have to use an all-rounded system. And you can, mix and match and try to play around if you have the time, right? But if you don't have the time, again, I will just, push this over to Sal, because obviously he has, the solution here. So I have not really a favorite protein. It's really based on what application you want to use the egg replacement protein for, right? Gluten-free is different from, say, like a bread dough brioche, from, say, a cake, from, say, a lemon meringue. Okay, all of them have different requirements, so all of them require different proteins.
So they want to know what volume measurements we did. Well, basically the scaling was exactly the same.
So basically specific volume, you were comparing specific volume, which is, the keeping the weight consistant. You get a
right
higher, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it actually, the specific gravity on was a little lighter on the BAKErpedia product. I don't have them in front of me, but we can get those to you. So basically, they was pretty much the same. What we did basically was just to use a commercial cake mix. And we figured, one of those, if they could, use one of those, try our product and one of that's going to work in anybody's product. So, we figured that was the basic thing, just something off the shelf that we tried just to prove that it wasn't something special formulation that we came up with. We came up with just a everyday product. And this is where you can take our product and adapt it to yours to make it a success.
And you did mention it was a 1-to-1?
Yes.
Okay.
So our BAKErpedia product is a 1-to-1. We did cake because I think it's kind of the most difficult thing you can formulate and people have the most problems with. But we have done it in yeast raised products. We have a special one, BAKErpedia, that's designed for yeast raised, and it's gluten free. It's designed for gluten-free breads. Basically you could use that, but all yeast raised. So we like you said before, you need to specialize to a certain point, and we're ready to meet that. We have done that. We've tested that in angel food cake. It holds up pretty good.
So let me ask you on that one. That one's pretty challenging because we all know that angel food cake, you have to whip or, whip up the whites first. What do you do in this situation?
Well, in this situation, you would probably customize your formulation, and we can work with you on that to take our product and add the flour to it that you want to get the structure. But it simulates egg whites so well. And I'll tell you another great thing about it, especially with this product here. I had this product, I was making these cookies one day that you like so much that I'm going to save for you sometime, Dr. Lynn. I whipped this product up and I ran out of almonds for my product. And you know what? I said, I'm just going to leave it in the bowl. I'll make some more after. Yeah. 2 hours I was gone. I came back and it was still like this. So it's very solid. So if even on a production basis, it'll go through the system really well. So yeah, we can work with you on it to come up with the different ideas, but it holds really well. You can see.
So to add to that, have you tried it in an Oaks machine?
We have not tried it yet in Oaks machine, but we've tried our other meringue products and whipped cream products in Oaks machine. So we feel very confident that it will work. So yeah, invite us out. If you have an Oaks machine, we'd love to come out and work with you on it.
If any of you have an Oaks machine, I would like to be invited too.
Absolutely.
All right.
In my opinion, that eggy aroma, yeah, you're right. Eggs, the egg is an incredible machine. Let's face it. I mean, it has all that to it. You can add flavorings to it depending on what type of your finished product is. We mostly see like the proteins sometimes have different flavors to them, as you well know. There are masking agents out there that are clean label and natural that you can use, or flavors that you can add to it as well. And that's the tough part, to simulate that flavor. So that part we don't have 100% yet, but knowing our team, maybe we will someday.
I'm going to recommend you to someone, Sal, that I think would have an excellent custard aroma replacement technology flavor. Yeah. I'll send you the intro, Sal.
Sure thing.
Yeah. But that's correct. The only way you can really replace it is through artificial or natural flavors. And unfortunately, that's one thing that's hard to replace. And you know what? I also do know that a lot of vegans out there are not wanting that eggy taste. They do not like that eggy tastes. So it's something that vegans can do without. And I speak for my friend.
That's true. I have a niece that's vegan. I don't know if she's watching today. Hi, Christina. If you're watching today, that's true. They don't want that eggy flavor type of product.
Right.
Yes, we do have formulations that we can work with you with, suggestions to help you. Absolutely. And we'll work with you depending on the application that you want to use it in. We can help you formulate. Again, this goes from cake to cookies to different types of pastry products. Again, even gluten-free applications. We can help you. You can use BAKErpedia in a gluten-free product. It works very, very well. I have done it in the past as well. But also, like I said before, in a yeast-raised product, we've done a BAKErpedia GF, which is a gluten-free product, and it gives great volume. That's one thing I love about that product. When we did some different breads together, we baked a control side by side, and I think it tastes better. Did not have a gummy flavor to it or taste or texture to it. And again, stressing our texture qualities of these products. It came very, very good. So yeah, we have worked with gluten-free, and we do a lot of things we also have other products in our arsenal of products that can help you with gluten-free, with freshness and things of that nature as well. The BAKErpedia, no, it's a powder. It doesn't need any refrigeration at all. Like anything.
After you mix it up, like if you.
After you mix it up. Like anything, again, it depends on the application. But like I say, the BAKErpedia, it's in a cake. It can stay out. It'll stay fine. But the meringues, it stays out. Meringue and it's just, this is what, an hour old. It's still great. So yeah. It'll handle it well, depending on your application or what you want to use it for. We have not seen a lot of taste, problems with this product. Again, it's product application. It's how you flavor it, you know, and how you work with it. So, I mean, depending on the application, I mean, let's face it, it's a plant-based protein. They do have some flavor characteristics to them, but there's ways to mask them. And that's the key. And we can work with you on that, especially when you're talking about custards and things like that, Dr. Lynn.
Yes, that's correct. And just remember that when you are replacing eggs, like I said just now, you are replacing the foaming abilities. And sometimes because when you do the replacement, your volume is not as high. So what does a regular baker do when the volume is not high enough? You put in more chemical leavening, right? So what I see as chemical tasting is actually a chemical imbalance in your chemical leavening system. So take a look at that you're not overdosing on, say, sodium bicarb or, you know, your leavening acid portion of things. Because if either of those don't interact properly, that's how you're going to get the chemical taste. So
yeah, they say, yeah, you feel like you've got to add more chemical leavening,
right, to get the volume,
and you get that
right,
clean taste to it.
Right. So watch for your chemical leaveners. Your real issue is the volume and finding the right egg replacement. So go down on your chemical leavenings, find a solution for the egg replacer. That's my solution.
I have made brioche with it. And
I think it's going to make your brioche buns and bread so much more puffier too. Yeah, right, Phil?
I don't have the pictures. I have made brioche with it. It's on one of the pictures we have in one of our handouts shows some brioche that we had made. You know, one thing that we try to show any pictures, we try to show our products in action. That's why we're here today. Not just say to you, yeah, you know, it works in brioche. Yeah, but do I believe them? Well, we can show you because I actually made it. So that's what it works really, really well in a product like that. Especially our side, the BAKErpedia that's designed for yeast raised products. You're going to love it. Right now, we do not really have any gelatin. We're part of a bigger company, so we have a lot of teams. We're part of the Profile Food Ingredients Group, and basically they're coming up with solutions. They have a great R&D team on that side. So they might have some other ones that I'm not aware of right now, but contact us anyways. I mean, if you need some information, we can steer you in the right direction.
So I've got a question to add to that for the attendee. What are you looking for in terms of gelatin replacement? Because in mousse, when you replace gelatin in mousse, their solution works really, really well. If you're going to replace gelatin as in like a jello kind of situation, there are alternatives in terms of a mix. I've seen a mix of carrageenan and agar, which will do that. If you're going to replace gelatin in, say, like a pudding, you know, again, hydrocolloids would be a good way to go. And if you're looking to replace gelatin in, what are the things they use gelatin in? Film forming, you know, transparent film forming, hydrocolloids, pectin is going to do that. So there are alternatives out there that you can look at in terms of replacing gelatin.
Well, speaking from a Holton standpoint, we basically try to keep to clean label. What is clean label? I mean, nobody can really define it. The government tells you what it's not clean label. So for our products, and I hate pushing the plug that way, but our products always, you know, we've always looked at standards like Panera or Whole Foods that these products would be going into, and we work with our products to keep it on that basis. So, you know, this is our Simply line, and this is what we can call it clean label. So you'll see, you know, like Simply Meringue PB, Simply Baked PB. These are clean label products. and they were developed that way at the beginning, and not just to have another, we don't have another product line that says it's not clean label, an egg replacement as far as in baking like BAKEreview. I mean, these are clean labels, and they were designed with that criteria in mind.
I would like to add to that as well, because Sal is correct. Nobody really defines what clean label is. But if you're like me, I immediately go into the label, look for mono and diglycerides, right? And I look for things like datum. I look for things like really long chemical names.
Right. But we try to stay away from those things. And you know what? In this day and age, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to come up with something that's going to function or mimic what you're doing now. It can be considered vegan, the BAKEreview. Yes, it can. It is plant-based as well. So you can turn a product that you have into a vegan product. It's designed to be functional in any type of operation you want. If you want to do vegan types of products, we got you covered. Basically the same as normal cakes. I mean, are the freeze qualities good? Yes. On them, excellent, actually.
You like for some, don't mean to jump in and interrupt
sure.
you, but for some sponge cakes, you have to refrigerate it if it's egg-based, right? Because if you don't refrigerate an egg-based sponge cake, you are going to have that rotting, eggy smell. It just happens, okay? Especially in warm, humid environments, like bakeries in the tropics or in the south of America. I believe your situation as a plant-based egg replacer does not require that. I don't think you need refrigeration of any sort. And if you reformulate the entire cake to be eggless, I don't think there needs to be a refrigeration. So I think all of you are finding out, your light bulbs right now, right? The usual cakes that you distribute, you need refrigeration. This cake, no, I don't believe you need refrigeration.
Let me just expand upon that a little bit. It really depends on the application that you're putting it in. And again, different parts of the world have different types of flours, that can play a part in this as well. Your absorption rate of flour, doctor, this as well as anyone else, that depends. Water is always a variable type of product, and it could affect your freezing. It could affect your stability outside. So yeah, I mean, there's some options. Again, it depends on the product that you're going to be showing or using.
Right. And it also depends on your local food safety regulations. I know certain places here in the US requires requires cakes to be refrigerated as long as it has eggs in it. So in this situation, it passes the food safety laws in certain areas. Doesn't have eggs, don't need refrigeration. So that's my point too, is just like this is going to give a lot of bakers opportunities to take the eggs out and increase their distribution and shelf life with a cheaper cost, actually. I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at certain things with cyclodextrins. It depends, how you want to use it, but it is a replacement. Is it perfect every time? Personally, I don't think so, but it is used in a lot of different things. Again, depending if you're going to go, what type of production you're going to use, that you want something to be solid and be able to stand through production or retail bake, doesn't matter.
So I have a question to that one. General cake flour, does that mean chlorinated flour? Or does that mean all-purpose flour? It depends on what region you're from.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but there's some companies that have cake flour that's not chlorinated. Our cake flour, I mean, what we made here was right off a shelf mixed. We just took it out of the store and used it to show that, it does work well. Yeah, so I would assume these are chlorinated cake flours, but different parts of the world, for example, Europe, it's not accepted. It's, so that it's illegal to use a chlorinated flour. But there are some flours out there that have the protein levels as cake flours that are not chlorinated. And there's different companies out there that, will do it. And Dr. Lynn, you have more knowledge on that even than I do.
So yeah, I would like to agree with you, Sal. With chlorinated flours, I would only use chlorinated flours in high ratio cakes where the sugar is so
Good point. Yep.
high in percentage. Well, sponge cakes, not necessarily, because sponge cakes do not have that much of a high sugar, right? And especially with sponge cakes, you have so much eggs, right? Eggs is the biggest chemical leavening system in sponge cakes. So I don't know Sal's research right now, what Sal sees in terms of replacing the eggs in sponge cakes, but you might not even need chlorinated flour, which really cuts cost on your end.
That's
Sal,
a very good,
idea?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. With something like that, you probably could. Again, you're talking about leavening, you're talking about mechanical leavening. Okay, this basically, this, like you say, you could use something with a little bit more protein to hold it up a little bit more. Like I said, the egg is an incredible machine and it does that. So you got to try to balance your formulations that, you can adapt to it. And that's what we can help you with.
Right. So if you're using a chlorinated cake flour right now, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No.
But if you're looking to switch from chlorinated to regular soft wheat flour, I think you have a benefit there in terms of cleaning up your label.
Yeah, low patent flour or something like that. That would be right.
Your technology, Sal, would definitely help.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we gotten to the end of the Q&A. No more questions, and we are so on time. Thank you all for listening. Sal, thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge on these delicious desserts, and it's making my stomach so hungry. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Again, if you want any information, holtonfp.com.